If I'm being honest, I never thought that we would actually see these hearing aids hit the market. In mid-2022, Phonak announced that the Phonak Slims were going to become their first release of a fashion hearing aid. This was some exciting news considering that the only other fashion hearing aid currently available on the market was the Signia Stiletto that was originally released back in 2018. However, there were two massive problems with these original Phonak Slim hearing aids. First and foremost, they were going to be built on the previous generation Paradise platform instead of the current generation Lumity Platform. The other problem is that they never actually got released. Ultimately, there was some speculation, mostly by me, that these were going to become their new over-the-counter hearing aid offering, or that they were just going to scrap the Phonak Slims altogether. Of course, by this point, you've probably caught on that Phonak is going to be releasing the all-new redesigned Phonak Slim hearing aids, and yes, they are coming to market this time. So I wanted to do a detailed review of these new hearing aids, and they are on the new Lumity platform. I'm going to focus most of this review on the unique aspects of the Phonak Slim hearing aids since they are on the Lumity platform. I do recommend that you go check out my Phonak Audio Lumity review that I did several months ago, but there are a couple of new things with these devices, namely the way that they look. I do want to mention that none of my hearing aid review videos are ever sponsored. I also want to mention that it does not matter how awesome any hearing aid is unless you've had it fit and programmed by a hearing care professional who follows best practices. If you do not know what best practices are, I highly recommend that you also check out my video that I will link in the description talking about best practices, because they are the only way to ensure that you receive the maximum amount of benefit from your hearing aids. If you would like an easy way to find a hearing care professional who follows these best practices that I speak of, make sure that you check out my website, hearingup.com, to find a Hearing Up network member near you. Hearing Up providers have been vetted and are committed to following comprehensive best practices to ensure that you get the most out of your hearing aids. If you want to treat your hearing loss the right way, find a Hearing Up provider and experience the difference that exceptional hearing care makes. The first thing I should mention about the Slims is that they did get a redesign. They're very similar, but there are a few differences of these devices compared to the first ones that they were originally going to release. The original Slims were going to come in 3 different color options: a two-tone silver, graphite, and copper black color with a single black push button. The new Slims will come in 4 different color options, including a two-tone silver, graphite, and copper black like before, but also a new sandalwood color option with a matching color push button. As far as fashion goes, it is all in the eye of the beholder. What I find to be fashionable, you might think looks completely ridiculous, and vice versa. Personally, I like the way that the new Phonak Slims look. Do I like them as much as the Signia Stiletto devices? The answer to that is no. For whatever reason, I just think that the Signia Stiletto devices are still the most fashionable devices out there. However, it does not matter what I think. I'm much more interested in what you think. On the left-hand side of the screen, you have the Signia Stiletto AX hearing aids, and on the right-hand side of the screen, you have the Phonak Slim hearing aids. Do me a favor and let me know in the comment section which hearing aid you find to be better looking and more fashionable, and if you are an overachiever, tell me why you feel that way. Now, I have a pair of Phonak Slims that I've been reviewing for the past several weeks at this point, and I want to show you what they look like when I put them on. So I've got this one right here behind my left ear with a generic rubber dome, and then I have one of my custom titanium ear molds on the right-hand side. And I'm going to show you a little bit more up close on the camera what these look like. There you go. That is from in front. That is from my left-hand side. That's what it looks like behind my ear and with the dome in the left ear. And then as I switch around here, you can see what the custom ear mold looks like inside of my ear canal and that device on the back. And let me stand back here a little bit more. That gives you a little bit better perspective of what they actually look like when you're wearing them. The first thing that you notice is that they are pretty long, but they are relatively slim. And I figured, what the hey, let's just go ahead and measure these guys and see how skinny they really are. First, let's start with the length of the Phonak Slim, which appears to be about 40 millimeters in total length from top to bottom. When you look at the Lumity R devices, you can see that these measure in at just shy of 28 millimeters, which is approximately 13 millimeters shorter than the Phonak Slims. But what about the width? As you can see here, the Phonak Slim hearing aids measure in at approximately 7.35 millimeters, and it is this thick from the top all the way down to the bottom. If you measure the Phonak Lumity R, you can see that the fattest portion of this hearing aid, which is towards the bottom, measures in at approximately 7.9 millimeters. This means that the widest portion of the Phonak Lumity R hearing aids are only 0.55 millimeters wider than the Phonak Slims. You want to see what 0.55 millimeters looks like? Here you go. This right here is 0.55 millimeters, which is negligible at best, and it's kind of weird because the top of the Phonak Lumity R hearing aid is actually slimmer than the Slim hearing aid is towards the top where it goes over the top of your ear. A more accurate name for the Slim is probably the Phonak Long, considering that it is much longer than a typical hearing aid, but it's not that much slimmer. The second thing that I should point out is that there is a dedicated right and left version of this particular hearing aid. Yes, you can order one or the other, but your hearing care professional has to make sure that they order the correct ear for you. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Also worth noting is that they use the same receivers as the other Lumity devices, and they are snap fit receivers, so you don't need a push pin to remove and exchange them. These snap fit receivers actually go into the hearing aid on a 7-degree outboard angle. The intent of this 7-degree angle is to make them more ergonomic for you as the hearing aid wearer. Now, there is something that I like and something that I do not like about the angle of this receiver. The thing that I do like is that it does not interfere with glasses as much. I can easily slide my glasses on, slide them off, and because there's a little bit of an outboard angle with the wire, it doesn't interfere with my glasses as much. The thing that I do not like about this 7-degree angle is that it actually makes the wire stick out of my ear a little bit more. Let's see if I can get close enough to the camera there where you can see that the wire doesn't go flush up against the side of my ear. It actually makes it stick out a little bit more. That drives me crazy. While most people will never notice this wire anyway, I just really like the wires to be flush up against my head. Theoretically, you could fix this issue by swapping your left and right devices, which would give you a 7-degree inboard angle, but that would lead to a massive amount of chaos when it comes to programming these devices, because in the programming software, it actually recognizes each ear as which ear it's mainly meant for. So to reprogram them to swap them would be very, very difficult for your hearing care professional. All right, guys, I hope you're liking this detailed review of the Phonak Slim so far. If you are, do me a huge favor, click the like button. Really helps out my channel. And while you're at it, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button with notification bell, go ahead and do that as well, because that ensures that you never miss one of my newly released videos. And I release multiple new videos every single week. That being said, I really appreciate it. Now let's go ahead and get back to the review. The Phonak Slims do use a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, which will give you all-day battery life, even if you're streaming a bunch. And it only takes 3 hours inside of their new charger to take these from 0 charge all the way up to a full charge. Unfortunately, the charger does not have a battery bank inside of it, so you cannot take it on the go. I do wish they would have made these a little bit bigger as well, because again, if you have custom ear molds, it's a little bit tighter of a fit to put your hearing aids back into this charger. I will say, though, that this charger is, I don't know, 1,000,000 times better than the regular Phonak Lumity charger, because it is almost impossible to fit custom ear molds inside of one of the Lumity chargers. That being said, Phonak has some of the absolute best custom ear molds out there with their acoustically optimized venting, as well as their Activent receivers that you really need to check out. I also love that Phonak accepts 3D digital scans from your hearing care professional for an even better physical fit. I will say that if you want to use Phonak hearing aids for a steeply sloping high-frequency hearing loss, you're going to have to get away from the rubber domes that they typically use on these hearing aids, and you're going to want to go to something that is more of a custom ear mold like I have right here. Custom ear molds do a much better job of trapping in high frequency speech information to give you as much clarity as possible and better hearing and background noise. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the technology levels that the Phonak Slims come in. Currently, they only come in the top tier premium 90 level that has all of the features and customizations you get from the rest of the Lumity lineup, and a second tier advanced 70 level that takes away some of these features and customizations, but are still really good hearing aids. There are no level 50 devices, there are no level 30 devices, there is no cross compatibility, and they do not have a telecoil. If you're debating between which technology level you should be going with, I always recommend that you go with the highest level of technology that you can reasonably afford. If you can't afford it, go ahead and drop down to the technology level you can afford forward, and it's the job of your hearing care professional to optimize the performance of those devices for you. Keep in mind, there is no guarantee that if you drop down in technology level that you'll lose performance. It just means that there's potential of you leaving benefit on the table. Let's talk about some of the other features that you get inside of the Phonak Slim hearing aids that you also get inside of the other devices in the Lumity lineup. One of the best features of the Phonak Lumity hearing aids is that you get Bluetooth connectivity with virtually any Bluetooth device. I'm talking smartphones, dumb phones, tablets, laptops, and pretty much anything else that has Bluetooth Classic connectivity. Not only does Bluetooth Classic give you better access to other Bluetooth devices, but in my opinion, it also gives you better audio quality while you're streaming. Not to mention, the Phonak programming software that your hearing care professional uses allows them to adjust the streaming audio for music and all other media to really customize it for what you want. Not only that, but you can also pair with up to 8 different devices with 2 active connections at the same time, so you can easily switch back and forth between your 2 favorite devices while you're streaming. The Phonak Slim hearing aids also have the motion sensor that you can find inside of the other Lumity rechargeable hearing aids. This motion sensor gives you motion sensor hearing, which changes the directionality characteristics of your microphones when you're on the move or when you're sitting, which is beneficial. These motion sensors also allow you to have access to tap control, which is my mother's favorite feature of her hearing aids. This allows you to answer phone calls, hang up on phone calls, pause streaming if you want to talk to someone, and then resume it with a double tap as well. It also gives you the ability to access your voice assistant on your phone with the simple double tap. The Phonak Slim hearing aids also have compatibility with the My Phonak app for a variety of different controls. This includes allowing you to change between different programs, change between different volume levels, activate different accessories, customize your own programs, track your health data, and have a live remote session with your hearing care professional so you don't always have to be going back into their office. Like all of the other hearing aids on the Lumity platform, they have some of the absolute best noise reduction capabilities in the entire hearing aid industry for steady state noises, soft noises, and impulse noises. By using the integrated Roger receivers, they still have wireless access to the Roger remote microphones, which are some of the absolute best assistive listening devices available on the market. And they have the ability to stream audio directly from your TV into both of your Phonak Slim hearing aids if you use a TV connector box. And trust me, this makes TV sound clearer than you have ever heard before in your life. From a performance standpoint, the Phonak Slim hearing aids are every bit as good as the other hearing aids in the Lumity lineup. They do not sacrifice anything just to get them to look this way. Ultimately, the goal of these hearing aids is to appeal to individuals who are a little bit more fashion forward or who just like the look of these particular devices. Phonak hopes that this will continue to increase hearing aid satisfaction that has grown by 25% over the last 33 years, while at the same time decreasing the average age of hearing aid adoption, and continue to increase hearing aid adoption rates that have nearly doubled in the United States from 22.9% to 38.4% in the last 33 years as well. Overall, I like that Phonak has a new option inside of their portfolio of devices, so you can pick which style of hearing aids that you prefer. Will the Phonak Slims completely change the game when it comes to treating hearing loss globally? Probably not. But they can allow you to treat your hearing loss and look good while doing it.